We got one win. Can we get another? Our Chicago Bears take on the Minnesota Vikings at 12 p.m. Central at Soldier Field. Can they pull out a dub for the second time in a row? Watch this video to hear my thoughts. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing before every single Bears game this year. So subscribe to my channel if you guys want my thoughts before and after each Bears game. And thankfully, the Bears did win a game. Last week, they did win a game. So I will be continuing doing these prediction videos, as long as we have any chance of having a respectable record, right? If we keep on losing games after this, like if we go on a 3-game losing streak after the last week, then I might switch to draft coverage. But right now, I'm still going to be, providing you guys with prediction videos because these games still do matter, okay? Even though I said the season seemed like it was over a couple weeks ago, there seems to be a newfound optimism in the Bears fan base after the last dominant victory over the Commanders on Thursday Night Football. Now, we do have to keep in mind that was only one game, so we can't overreact to that too much. Remember last year we beat the Patriots on national TV by a lot, and we went on to lose 14 games in a row. So until we build off of that last win, none of this optimism means anything. But there is reason to be a little bit more excited now for the rest of the season because of the offense, the quarterback that we thought we were getting this season finally has showed up the last 2 weeks. Now the defense still has not really been great, at all this year, but we are getting pieces back on the defense too. Guys that were injured coming back. So, if the Bears win this game, guys, against the Vikings and go to 2-4 on the season with many winnable games coming up down the stretch, like we could still make a run at this and have a respectable finish to this season. Like I'm still not going to predict playoffs, obviously, for this team after only winning one game. Okay, I have to see a lot more to see us even having a chance at making the playoffs, but there's a lot of season left, guys. If the Bears keep on playing as good as they played the last game, anything is possible. The season was never really about making the playoffs anyways. It was just about steady progress from our quarterback, from our entire team, and if we can keep on building off the last game and start winning some more games, stringing together some good performances in a row, we could still have a successful 2023 season even after the terrible start that we had this year. And keep in mind, guys, if the Bears just don't choke a 21-point lead against the Broncos, we're 2-3 with a chance to go to 500 this weekend. So that loss against the Broncos does sting a lot more when you realize that. But like I mentioned, guys, a lot of season left. Anything is possible. So if the Bears keep on playing like they played against the Commanders, anything is possible. And we could make a Lions-type run, a 2022 Lions-type run if we keep on playing like that. But that's the question mark. Is our team going to play like that the entire year? Or was that just a fluky win that only happened because everybody was fighting for their jobs? We're going to find out in this game and in the following game. So, talking about our opponent in this game, guys, a divisional game. We're facing off against the Vikings for our first matchup against the Vikings this season. And the Vikings also have a pretty poor record just like us, okay? They also have a 1-4 record, but all of their games have been really, really close games, okay? They've been in a one-possession game with everybody so far this year. So, against the Chiefs last weekend, they had a chance to tie that game at the end, but they lost by 7 points. But they were also in a one-possession game with the Carolina Panthers, the worst team in football. So the Vikings are, kind of crazy like that. Like they're going to play down to their opponent's level or play up to their opponent's level. But they are 1-4, so all those bounces that went their way last year, all those last-second drives that went their way last year are not going their way this year. So it's largely the same Vikings team as last year, but just those bounces are not going their way. They seem to be cursed this year as opposed to last year. And they also lost some talent as well, which, I'll get into. But talking about the Vikings offense, let me break down their offense first of all. And they rank number 16 in points scored per game, number 9 in yards gained per game, number 2 passing offense, and number 28 rushing offense. And the big storyline here, guys, is that Justin Jefferson, the best receiver in the NFL by far, in my opinion, might not be playing in this game. Okay, he had a hamstring injury, suffered in the last game against the Chiefs, and I'm recording this video on Monday, so it's too early to say if he's going to play or not, but according to some of the stuff I've read from, doctors on Twitter and, general analysts speculating, it seems like he's not going to be playing in this game against the Chicago Bears, which if he does not play, that is a big break for the Chicago Bears, guys, because Justin Jefferson, like I mentioned, is the best receiver, probably the best weapon in the entire NFL, has destroyed us in games prior like he does basically every single opponent he goes up against, and not having him on the field is a massive loss for the Vikings offense that does throw the ball to him in tough situations, throughout the course of a game, constantly, okay? Justin Jefferson has 571 yards so far on the year, so that's a big, massive chunk of the entire Vikings offense potentially not being on the football field. And for a secondary, it's going to make things a lot easier if he's not there. So they do have other solid talent, though, on this team. They drafted Jordan Addison out of USC in the first round, and he's been having a pretty good start to his NFL career. He's averaging 12.1 yards per catch and has 249 yards on the season so far. So, pretty good option there. He's a solid number 2, maybe not a great number 1. Obviously, without Justin Jefferson, I'm kind of wondering how he's going to perform without Justin Jefferson on the other side to draw potential for him. But as a number 2, he has been pretty good, has pretty good hands, really good route running. In college, he found ways to separate, get open, and so far that's been the case so far in the NFL as well. They also got TJ Hawkinson, who they traded for from the Detroit Lions last year, who's a good receiving option at tight end. He has 254 yards on the season. They find ways to scheme him open. He's been a pretty good player in the system so far. Besides that, they got KJ Osborne as a number 3, who's going to be probably the number 2 now because Justin Jefferson is out. And KJ Osborne has not been great by any means for the Vikings, but we'll see if he can stretch the defense with any big plays. He does have some speed to his game. But talking about the run game, guys, the Vikings do not have a good run game whatsoever. Okay, Alexander Mattison has been under scrutiny by the Vikings fan base the entire year for fumbling issues, for not hitting the right hole. He's only averaging 4.2 yards per carry, so not a good yards per carry number. He's not really been seeing the field as well at running back. He's not the most explosive either, so Mattison definitely having a pretty bad year. And the Vikings run game in general, it ranks as the 28th rushing attack in football. They don't run that often, and when they do run, they have not been that efficient. So, pretty one-dimensional Vikings offense. It's a very pass-heavy offense. And talking about the quarterback, guys, Kirk Cousins has been a good quarterback this year, okay? As much hate as he does get, he's still been a good, solid starting quarterback for the Vikings for his entire career here, for the most part, okay? Not elite, not best of the best, but good enough to be a starting quarterback. Okay, his numbers are really good. He has 1,498 passing yards, number 2 in the NFL, 13 passing touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, completion percentage of 67%. So, Kirk is Kirk, man. If you surround him with a good offensive line with good playmakers, which the Vikings do have a good offensive line, their playmakers might be down Justin Jefferson, which could impact his game a lot, but still, when you do give him a solid system, a solid structure, he's going to make good throws for you, be the point guard of the offense, and distribute the ball quickly to playmakers, when they are open. So he has had a big fumbling issue, though. He has 5 fumbles on the year. The Vikings' entire team in general has a big fumbling issue. They have 10 fumbles on the year, which is just absolutely insane. I don't know how they possibly have turned the ball over that much by fumbling it. So they definitely put the ball on the ground pretty often, and we'll see if the Bears defense can take advantage of that. But talking about the Vikings defense now, okay, they rank number 22 in points allowed per game, number 18 in yards allowed per game, number 22 passing defense, and number 13 rushing defense. And they have a new defensive coordinator in here. Obviously, as compared to last year, they got Brian Flores, the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, and a very smart defensive mind, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they have enough talent on this defense to really have a top-level defense, okay? Even with how aggressive Brian Flores has been in times in disguising coverages and sending pressure, if you don't have the guys, it's very hard to field a capable defense. And right now, the Vikings defense just does not have the guys on it, okay? They do have some pieces, obviously, Danielle Hunter is one of the best edge rushers still in the NFL. He has 6 sacks on the year, so Danielle Hunter is definitely getting after the quarterback, getting pressures on the quarterback, but besides him, it doesn't seem like many other people on the defensive line are stepping up. The second leading sack producer on the team so far has been Harrison Smith, the safety, which Harrison Smith, guys, has had a really good year so far for the Vikings, even though he's getting up there in age. He's been really good in terms of being physical, in terms of tackling, which he always has been. So Harrison Smith actually has 3 sacks, 38 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, so definitely a big weapon still for this Vikings defense. But besides those two, it doesn't seem like any other people have stepped up that much. They have had, some linebackers stepping up, but they just don't have the high-end impact talent, especially on the secondary, okay? Besides for Harrison Smith, there's not too many other household names on the secondary, and Harrison Smith also is getting up there in age, okay? He's not what he used to be in terms of speed, so definitely going to be a lot of opportunities to attack this Vikings defense down the field because they have been prone to allowing big plays downfield. And hopefully the Bears offense can do that. But talking about the Chicago Bears offense now, they rank number 13 in points scored per game, number 14 in yards gained per game, number 19 passing offense, and number 9 rushing offense. And you guys can see by my facial expression, like, I'm pretty surprised at these numbers because it's been a long time since the Bears offense is ranked this high in all these categories, okay? Which is kind of crazy because the first couple weeks of the season, it seemed like it was more of the same, more of having a pretty bad offense. But because of the last 2 games in which the Bears passing offense has completely exploded, the Bears numbers actually don't look that bad on the year. And talking about that passing offense, guys, I mean, everything that we were hoping to see out of Justin Fields, out of DJ Moore, out of all the playmakers, aside from Chase Claypool, obviously he's not on the team anymore, but everything we were hoping to see out of this offense, we finally did see those things in the last 2 games. Okay, Justin Fields has completely exploded as a passer, having the 2 best passing games of his career probably in the Chicago Bears uniform. He had 617 passing yards and 8 passing touchdowns to only 1 interception in the last 2 games. Okay, crazy numbers for a quarterback that in the past has struggled to even get 200 passing yards in a game. Okay, having back-to-back games basically of having 300 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Obviously against 2 bad defenses, but still these numbers are encouraging. And what's even more encouraging is that on tape, Justin Fields finally seems like himself. Okay, the guy that we saw at Ohio State attacking downfield, being fearless and throwing the ball downfield, that guy seems to have returned because Justin Fields attacking deep has been on fire the last 2 games with multiple accurate passes downfield. Now he has missed a few as well. He has not been perfect by any means, but I'm really happy with the progress that Justin Fields has been making. And if he continues playing like this, going down the stretch of the season, he's definitely going to be the quarterback for the Bears in 2024, even if we do have a top pick, from the Carolina Panthers. And I do want to give major props to DJ Moore, obviously, because DJ Moore has been the number 1 main reason why Justin Fields has taken a massive step upwards as a passer, because obviously having a number 1 option at receiver makes your life much easier as a quarterback. Okay, DJ Moore's been getting crazy yak in this offense, taking short passes all the way to the house, putting moves on the defenders in the open field, spinning, juking, just doing crazy stuff to get yards after the catch, which is very helpful for his quarterback. Obviously, he's also been making contested catches too. He had a contested catch in the end zone. He actually does lead the NFL in contested catches according to PFF with 6. So, I mean, that's a crazy number for a receiver that's not even that tall, right? Like DJ Moore is only 6 foot tall, I want to say, but he still goes up and makes crazy catches because he is a true number 1. And really happy the Bears did acquire him. He's completely changing the Bears offense. And I do want to talk about the running back depth though on this team because it will be tested in this game. Okay, Khalil Herbert will not be playing in this game. He's probably going to be out for a month due to an injury suffered in the last game. So definitely sucks for missing our number 1 running back. Roshan Johnson also suffered a concussion in the last game. I'm not totally sure if he's going to be playing in this game. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Travis Homer, our number 3 back, also got injured in the last game. So definitely a lot of injuries suffered in the last game for the Chicago Bears running backs. But the good news is that we have D'Onta Foreman on the bench just waiting to get some carries now, okay? And D'Onta Foreman was one of the most efficient running backs in the league last year. He almost broke 1,000 yards. So I'm totally okay with D'Onta Foreman starting on this team in this game if he has to, because he has proven to be a pretty capable back when he has been called upon. And we also did sign Darrynton Evans from the Dolphins practice squad too, and he was on the Bears team last year and had some moments where he didn't get the ball that often, obviously, but he had a few carries in the Vikings game, the last game of the year last year, in which he looked pretty decent when he did get the opportunity. So we'll see what the Bears running back rotation looks like. It might be Roshan Johnson RB1, maybe D'Onta Foreman RB2, or maybe D'Onta Foreman is RB1. I can't really say as of now, but either way, like, I'm not stressing the Bears running back depth that much right now because I think we have pretty fantastic depth. So, that's the Chicago Bears offense. But talking about the Chicago Bears defense then, they rank number 30 in points allowed per game, number 29 in yards allowed per game, number 31 pass defense, and number 12 rushing defense. And the big story here, guys, is that the Bears secondary finally is becoming healthy because practically everybody, all the starters should be healthy enough to play in this game. Kyler Gordon is coming back from injured reserve, according to my knowledge. So we got our starting nickel back. We got Jalen Johnson also coming back, according to him. Again, I'm recording this video on Monday, so some of this information might be changed based on what the practice reports are, which come out on Wednesday. So maybe things could change, but right now we're slated to get Kyler Gordon back, Jalen Johnson back, our CB1. We're also probably getting Eddie Jackson back too, our starting free safety. So this Bears secondary, man, has been decimated by injuries the entire year. So getting all of them back does change how we play our defense, because there's stuff that they bring to the table that the other guys simply do not. Okay, our backup safety behind Eddie Jackson, like, he doesn't have the same abilities in coverage. Our backup cornerbacks, like, they don't have the same ability to break on the ball, to be physical like Kyler Gordon does. Obviously, Jalen Johnson is one of the better cornerbacks, I feel like, in coverage in the entire league. So getting him back is invaluable. So, I mean, I'm not saying this Bears defense is going to be great still, because we have severe problems in getting pressure on the quarterback, especially only sending 4. But getting these guys back in the secondary does help us out in hopefully limiting passing yards, and hopefully getting some turnovers too, interceptions, because we have struggled to get interceptions and get any plays made on the ball. But getting these talented guys back in the secondary definitely is going to be a big plus for the Chicago Bears. And I do want to talk about Gervon Dexter on the defensive line to close out my segment on the defense, because Gervon Dexter, guys, is slowly and surely been getting better every single week. Okay, he had 6 pressures on the quarterback in the last game, one of the best defensive linemen in the entire league last year, or what am I saying last year? Last game, last week, he was one of the best defensive linemen in the league. Obviously, he didn't get a sack, but to get 6 pressures on the quarterback in a single game, that's pretty tough to do, okay? And the get off, the speed up front, the power, the raw power was definitely there in the last game. He just got up and went and didn't even use his hands too often. Like, I think he's also improved, obviously, in keeping the pad level down and using his hands better, but that power and the raw speed, the raw explosion was there in the last game. And if he can keep that up, guys, the Bears might have something in Gervon Dexter, and that's sorely needed for a pass rush that's really struggled to get any pressure on the quarterback, only sending 4. With that being said, let's get to my 3 keys to Bears victory, okay? How can the Chicago Bears win this game? And key number 1 is going to be to get some peanut punches in this game, okay? The Vikings fumble a lot, okay? They have 10 fumbles on the year, and with the Chicago Bears preaching the hits principles, turning the ball over, Peanut Tillman even came to our training camp to teach the young guys how to peanut punch properly, how to get turnovers as a cornerback, as a defensive back. I'm expecting at least 1 fumble in this game forced. Okay, we have to get 1 fumble forced in this game with how bad the Vikings have been at turning the ball over, and we need to help out our offense too with getting extra possessions, because with how bad the defense has been in times, we're going to need the offense probably to score a lot to actually win this game. So that's key number 1. Key number 2, then it's going to be to test a weak secondary by attacking downfield early and often throughout this game. That's nothing different than what I've been saying this entire season, but Justin Fields is at his best when attacking downfield. He has a phenomenal deep ball. It really helps him see the field better when he has options open downfield. And DJ Moore has been great for us. Darnell Mooney has had good games against the Vikings in the past. We got Tyler Scott as a deep burning option, which we haven't used Tyler Scott that often, but I do hope to see Tyler Scott maybe get some snaps also in this game to use that deep vertical speed, stretch the defense even more. So that's key number 2. And then finally, key number 3 is going to be to complete the checkdowns against the blitz if you are Justin Fields. Okay, even though I did say I want to see him attacking downfield a lot, he's also going to have to be good in checking down when the blitzes, when the pressure does come, because I guarantee you, Brian Flores, he's going to want to send pressure against a quarterback like Justin Fields. Okay, a quarterback that, in the past and even this year, guys, he struggled sometimes running into sacks, not seeing pressure coming, not having the best pocket awareness. So Fields in this game, man, he's going to have moments where he's going up against 5-6 man pass rushes. And when that's the case, you just have to find the wide open guy, because somebody is going to be open if Luke Getsy is doing his job, right? So the check down should hopefully be there, and hopefully Justin Fields can hit his check downs to get some yards, get the ball out if those blitzes, if that pressure does come his way. With that being said, let's get to my score predictions. Who do I have win this matchup? And guys, I have the Chicago Bears returning to Soldier Field, and for the first time in a long time, getting a win at Soldier Field by the score of 28-27. Because this Vikings team plays down to their opponent's level, okay? I'm not very confident in picking the Bears to win just because of how bad we have been this year, but we did win the last game in dominant fashion with how the Vikings do play down to their opponent's level, with how the balls have not been bouncing their way so far. I do think there's a decent chance the Bears can win this game at home, especially if Justin Jefferson does not play, okay? If he's not on the field, that's a break for the Chicago Bears defense. I still think we allow 27 because the Vikings offense is still pretty damn good and our defense is not that good, especially at sending pressure. But I do think, man, we are going to score a good amount of points too in this game because the Vikings defense has not been anything special. DJ Moore has been elite, one of the best receivers in the game, and Justin Fields has also been on a roll. So again, I'm scared to pick a Bears win, but I haven't picked a Bears win since week 2 against the Buccaneers. So it's been a long time, man. I want to pick a Bears win, so I'm going to be doing that this week, and hopefully they don't make me look silly for this prediction. But offense MVP, I'm going to be going with DJ Moore. I cannot go with anybody else at this point just because of how dominant this guy has been, getting so many yards after the catch, catching everything for our team, and just being a monster on the field, a monster weapon. So I have DJ Moore going out for 100 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. As for my defense MVP, I'm going to be going with Kyler Gordon, okay? This might be, too optimistic, but I am predicting Kyler Gordon to get a scoop and score touchdown at some point in this game, okay? So the first defensive touchdown for the Bears, I think it happens in this game just because of how bad the Vikings have been at fumbling. But leave your comments down below, guys. What do you guys think happens in this game? I'm so happy the optimism is back right now in the Chicago Bears fan base. But please, Chicago Bears, please do not let us down, okay? Please win this game so we can continue making a run and having a respectable rest of the season, because I really do not want to talk about the NFL draft this early in October. Leave your comments down below. As always, bear down.